Hey, what's up, guys? This is the Education 10 here, and today I'm going to be giving you a deck profile of my newest deck post Raging Tempest. Now that it's out, the Lawn Mowing Infernoids, or the Grass Infernoids. Also, so this is going to be a 60 card deck profile, extra deck and side deck included, and let's begin. Let's get started. So my deck, before I get into the Infernoid engine, I do run a little BA engine. So I run 3 Farfa. He is the Banisher for the Burning Abyss. Just fun to have at 3, and he's just fun to loop around with Dante and with all the other Burning Abyss. I'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, 3 Farfa. I run 1 of Graph, 1 Turgide, 2 of Fiendish Rhino Warrior. Very handy in pitching Fiends to Grave. It could be Burning Abyss, or it can be Infernoids. So he really is an important card, and he's rank 3 and protects Fiends from being destroyed by effects. I run 2 Barbar. Barbar is good to go for game late, to deal at least 900 points of damage just by banishing 3 different Burning Abyss monsters that are not him. 3 Skarms, which are searchers in the deck, and they set up the tour guides and maybe let me add other Burning Abyss monsters into my hand if I need them. Last but not least of my non-Infernoid engine, and this is a non-Burning Abyss, but it's now the utmost important card that I run 3 of in this deck. It's just incredible. 3 of Fairy Tale Snow, and this is the card you absolutely want to have in a deck of like mine, where you do a lot of milling, and as long as you get cards in grave, and you can just banish 7 cards from your hand or from grave, doesn't matter where, or from the field, and then you can just instantly summon Fairy Tale Snow, and you can do this as many times as you want in a turn, as long as you have at least 7 cards. And as soon as Fairy Tale Snow comes out, it's like a walking Book of Moon. She flips cards face down, can disrupt attacks, can disrupt little plays. Could be good for disrupting potential setups for Xyz summons or for Synchro or whatever. So she is really an important card to have in this deck, and she's an 1850 beater. Usually the common theme is I can go over plus on big attacks and go with her for game at the end. Really handy. Now on to the Infernoid engine that I run. I run 2 of Infernoid Anunku. He's the monster destruction card. He blows up monsters, and he can tribute Infernoids or himself to negate spell and trap card or regular effects, and then banish them. So Anunku is a real kick-ass card. He's really strong. Then I run 3 of Deviati, who is the spell and trap destruction. He blows up spell and traps on the field. He can negate monster effects. Any monster effects that activate just tribute Infernoid, and he negates and banishes them instantly. And he's a 2900 beater. He's really strong, and just a great beat stick to have in a deck with Infernoids. Then I run 3 of the Tuner, Infernoid Decatron, and Decatron just instantly, as soon as he's summoned, you pitch an Infernoid to grave. He gains the level in addition to the level he already has. So let's ditch Petrulia. He goes up to level 5, and he also gets that Infernoid's effect, as well as being able to, he won't get the attack points or anything, but like if I use Petrulia, he'll get his effect to pop spell and traps, and he can tribute himself to negate effect, to negate cards, to banish cards from grave. And he's a tuner, which is just beautiful. He can set up synchro plays and all, and I run a couple synchros in this deck. Then I run 3 of Infernoid Petrulia. I just mentioned him a minute ago. He can blow up spell or traps once per turn, just destroying 1 per turn. He just can't attack as a price, but he's just a great guy to have, and he's extra material in the graveyard to banish to get high-powered Infernoids on the board. Next up is 3 of Infernoid Harmadic. He is the He can pop a monster once per turn. Very handy. Just very handy to have. And same thing, just, again, extra material in the grave to banish for extra Infernoids. I also run 2 of Sightsamus and 2 of Infernoid Attondel. Attondel is the monster that can attack a second time in a row. If he destroys a monster, he can attack again. And again, he, on either player's turn, he contribute Infernoid, including himself, and just banish a card from my opponent's grave. Sightsamus, he's the one that can banish a card at the end of the battle phase. He can banish on the field, and it doesn't target, so he is so huge to have on board. He's 2600 beater. He's another powerhouse Infernoid that can work alongside Attondel. One extra Burning Abyss I forgot to mention. I have 1 of Seer. As per the banlist limit, you can only have 1 in a deck, but he can recycle Dante. He can recycle other Infernoids in my grave. I also run, to complete my monster lineup, I run a mini Lightsworn engine. I run 1 Lumina, 1 Lightsworn Wolf. The Wolf Lightsworn, he's good for, as soon as he's pitched to grave, he can instantly get summoned, and Lumina can just drop a card from hand, and you can instantly bring a Lightsworn back to the grave. And of course, I run right now, I'm hoping to get a 3rd of Raiden, the Hand of the Lightsworn, and he's another tuner that can set up Synchro Summon plays. So these guys are very, 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 very important. You need to have milling in this deck, not just from some of my other cards that I'll show you in a minute, but from the Lightsworns as well. On to my spell and traps, I run 3 of Void Seer. This is a handy quick play spell. Can protect an Infernoid from being affected by card effects when it's activated as on the field as a spell or trap, and then from grave, and it can be on the same turn. If an Infernoid were to get destroyed by a card effect, I can instantly banish this from grave, and he's protected from that destruction. So Void Seer comes really in handy at disrupting destruction boards, maybe stopping a Dark Hole a little bit and slowing it down. Then I run the key spell card, 3 of it. You need this in this deck. Left Arm Offering. At a price of banishing your hand, as long as you have 2 other cards, you can instantly search out any spell you want. And that is just insane. You could search out any spell, and I'm going to show you that spell in a moment that you need to particularly run, particularly now in a 60-card deck, and now that it's out and from Raging Tempest. But yeah, definitely need to run 3 of Left Arm. It can just search out some handy spells if you need them late. I run also 2 of Hand Destruction. Again, like if I have some dead cards in my hand, I can just toss out 2 of them and then draw 2 new cards. Both of us have to do it, so that could maybe take away some plays from my opponent. Who knows if he has a good setup of a hand, and maybe I can disrupt it. Of course, the only rule is both of us have to have at least 2 cards in our hand in order for this card to work. And then here's the card that is almost an automatic search off of a Left Arm Offering. Right now I run 2 of it, and that is That Grass Looks Greener. And boy, is it an amazing card. As long as I have more cards in my deck than my opponent does, I can mill down my deck to equal my opponent's total of cards in their deck. So definitely in this format, look for a lot of folks asking the other player how many cards you have left in your deck before setting up The Grass is Green. It's just an amazing card, and boy, it makes Infernoids now, it makes them so much faster to get out their big monsters and to create big boards early. It's just such a good card. So 2 of Grass is Green. I run 2 Charge of Light Brigade, which, again, you get to mill cards, and you can add a Lightsworn to your hand. So I can add an instant Raiden, and I can mill another 4 cards in a turn. Just very, very good. I run 1 Void Imagination for plays with Tierra. As long as my opponent has a monster from the extra deck, I can just send 6 Infernoids to the grave and bring them out as material. Also, it can reduce all Infernoids on my field that have a level 2 or higher that make them level 1, so I can bust out more than 1. I can bust out Deviati twice if I want to, or I can bust out a Nunku, knowing that my board has Infernoids that are level 1. This is an insane card. Only, just a little drawback is the damage gets cut in half when you have one Imagination involving Infernoids. I run one Reasoning. This is good, again, for milling, and you can get an instant special summon if the card you pick up is not the same level as the one declared by your opponent. If it's the same one, it goes right to the grave, but in the end, it's not too bad. Reasoning, very handy. You need to have this in your deck for milling purposes. Another one is Monster Gate. Just tribute a monster, and you pick up cards until a monster that can be summoned is picked up. Everything else just goes right to the grave. So it's basically another Reasoning. I run one for one. This is an automatic add to the board to get a Decatron out. Let's say if you don't open him, you have one for one. You just drop a card, and out he comes. It's a very good card. You need to have that. I run rest of some staples. One Twin Twister, one Raigeki, one Allure. Since I don't really run too much of I don't run too many darks. I have the Burning Abyss, so I like to keep it at one. I feel like I have enough draw power in here. And then for the traps, I only run a total of 3. I run 2 of the new Void Feast. For those who don't know, you can, by simply sending a card with a spell or trap with Void in the name from field or hand, I can instantly bring out 3 Infernoids as long as their level totals 8, ignoring summoning conditions. I mean, that is insane. This is support Infernoids needed to have. Very important. And finally, for my last trap, just one Solemn Warning. On to my extra deck. I mentioned Imagination. I run one Infernoid Tiara, one number 20 Giga Brilliant. I run a Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. I can use it over 2 Petrulias, and I can just power him up if I need to get over big monsters. One High Speedroid Chambara. He's, just great for game. Double attack twice in a turn and gains 200 points. Leviair, if I need to get back cards that were banished, he comes in handy for that. One Beatrice for setting up after Dante. And of course I run one of the Dante Fusion after Beatrice dies. I run 3 of Dante. One Utopic Future. One Cyframe Lord Omega. And for the heck of it, one Michael the Arc Lightsworn, just to set up boards if I need to, just to banish some cards if I need to. I'll probably also put a Utopia and Utopia Lightning in here as well. And then finally, my extra deck. One Infernal Gainer. He's good for Fiends. He lets Fiend monsters attack twice in a turn by banishing him. So I can do this with Deviati or the Nunku, have him attack twice. System Down, which is an important card now, just to banish machines like Cosmo, banishing, just banishing any troublesome machine monsters. This is such a handy little card. Very handy. And for ABC, of course. Almost forgot about ABC. 2 Lava Golems, just to get over certain monsters that, maybe you can't get destroyed. A lot of cards now are cards that can't be targeted, so you can use Lava Golems to tribute and get right over them. So I run Lava Golem at 2. Couple Artifact Sites. Doesn't hurt to have a little back row, and Deviati, because he blows back row up, I can blow up Artifact Site and just get him right off, and then my opponent can't go to an extra deck. So it's really good to have, and it's cards sometimes for Infernoids you wouldn't expect. One Shadow Imprisoning Mirror to get over Dark Lords, to slow down any dark decks. And then, finally, 2 Interrupted Kaiju Slumbers for, again, Kaijus contribute over cards, and this is like a mini Dark Hole to blow up boards. 2 Gamma Seal, 1 Dagaran, and 1 Jizukiru. I'm missing 1 more Kaiju, so that would complete my side deck at 15. But I like to run a little bit of a mini engine of Kaijus just to get over some boards if I need to. Alright, that was my deck profile for my Grass Infernoids. If you guys have any comments, any suggestions, please leave your comments below. But for right now, Beast of the East saying so long. Not Beast of the East, excuse me. Execution 10. Oh my god, I get my name so mixed up. Execution 10 saying so long, and please leave your comments. Have a good one, everyone.